Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Her first time on the show in 11 years. She's never been up here.
What?
She be busy.
Seriously?
Yes, Alicia Keys.
Yay.
Alicia Keys, what's happening?
Everything is everything. Seriously, I never been up here.
No.
So when I
No.
did it, where were we? What you mean by I never been up here?
Oh, no,
did.
you know what? No, we did Empire. Remember you played Sky on Empire, and I played
You never came on the
myself.
Breakfast Club?
See?
Yeah.
She's like, I do a lot. I don't know. I feel like
That was it.
She's like, where were we?
Yeah.
We never...
No, I'm just trying to feel like I never been in this room with y'all.
I don't think so.
yeah, it's very.
There we go.
It's pretty disgusting
This is-
in here if you look around.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? You prefer not to be in
Look
here?
at it. It's all dirty.
Come on, it's
stuff everywhere.
beautiful. This is your space.
That's right. It's the essence to it.
You know what I mean?
And it's
It
also
has a
your first time
vibe.
doing a double album.
It is my first time.
That's a lot of
doing
music. You put out a lot of music.
It's a
Why
lot.
so much? Did you just have so much music, or during the pandemic you were like, I just feel like working?
It's originals and unlocked, so.
Yeah, it's definitely, really is a lot of the songs are the same because the one side is original, so that's like more stripped down piano vibes. The other side, Mike Will and I sampled the original. So it's really two perspectives of the same song. So if you really break it down, it's probably like 14 joints two times.
Oh, that's why it says unlock some of the tracks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got you.
So
And
unlock-
usually you don't work with just one producer like you did with Mike Will on the unlocked version. How was that process? for
No,
you?
it was great. I mean, to just kind of bring it back down to the basics. I think at the beginning, it was just mostly me, and at the time I had my partner Crucial that we always worked together. But after that, I started to explore more different collaborations. So coming back to the basics of just like being just me on the originals, and then just me and Mike on Unlock. It's fluid. It just feels kind of easy and it flows. Especially for now. Obviously, we're not all getting with 1,000 people right now. It's about keeping the circle tight.
First of all, how are you? I don't think we said that. How are you?
You know what?
How are you? How's your energy?
Thank you. My energy is amazing.
Okay.
I was actually going to ask y'all, how the hell are y'all?
I'm good. I'm good.
I appreciate you
It's a
asking
good
me
time
that
of the year.
question.
It's
It
the
is great time.
holidays. I feel upbeat. I know it's a weird time still though. Last year was
Yeah.
really weird. This year is still a little weird, but you got new music out, and this is always
Yes.
the best time I feel like to drop music.
It's Keysmas. That's what I'm calling it, Keysmas.
That chain is nuts.
Thank you.
Where's my diamond tester?
Come on.
Don't touch it.
That is crazy. That's beautiful. Like,
Thank you.
That is.
Thank
it's
you.
so hip hop. That's dope.
Yeah, I figure everybody else bring out their chains. Actually, Swizzy, he gave me this for his birthday. So on his
Wow.
his birthday, he gave me this. I thought that was kind of fire.
Dope.
So what, we've been seeing you now doing more and more interviews. More and more people are starting to know who Alicia Keys really is.
Ah.
So
Why
you
is this?
rolling a
'Cause for
blunt.
years, we really didn't know. Like, you did the what, and then it just Keys took off, and then we really didn't see
You know
this
what?
type of Keys, this part of Keys.
I think you're right. And I guess I didn't ever realize it because I live with myself. So I know who I am and I know how I feel and I know what I do and I know how I vibe. And all of my friends and people that rock with me, they know me. So I guess I didn't. And every time I come to an interview or I come to a thing, I'm always the same person. You can't say like I'm acting differently. But I guess I just never realized that people didn't actually get to connect with me. I think because of maybe the type of interviews they were. So it didn't allow us to like get into the zone the way that maybe some of these ones more recently have felt. And when I tell you I'm having so much fun, I'm having so much fun because I think it just feels, again, it's just nice for people to connect with me as I know myself.
Why do you think that was? Because I was listening to you with Nori. Shout to Nori.
Salute to
Big
NO.
love.
And you were talking about earlier that, management, when they even brought you to J Record, they never got it to you. Was it one of those things where management didn't want you to do certain things and they wanted to keep you this way or opposed to going this way? Was that one of those things?
I don't know what happens with management, man, to be honest. I mean, I think that maybe in some ways people want to protect you, I think it's mostly that. People want to like protect your energy and protect how many people are kind of approaching you and things like that. So I get it. But I think that there's also sometimes a mind state that goes into that people who work with you sometimes feel like they know better than you. And I think that's the part that I've really come to terms with, realizing that, you trust people and you want them to help you out, but you can't just give over your power like that. You have to be an understanding that the choices that I make have to be mine. They can't be yours. So we make them together. So I think it's a little bit of that. And I don't know if in that record particularly that's what happened, or if there was another feeling about it or whatever. I think it just was one of those situations. But could you imagine no Empire? Damn.
Yeah.
That'd have been fucked up.
Who is Alicia Keys in 2021? We're going into 2022. Who are you now, basically? Who are you now?
2022, it's crazy. Man, you know, I'm a lot of the same person that I've always been. I'm definitely that same kind of empathetic, relatable, boots on the ground type of girl, woman. But I definitely have a lot more wisdom. I have a lot more confidence. I have a lot more understanding of just what's real and what's fake. I think sometimes this world, this game, this industry can really be confusing. You know, you get confused about what's actual and what's not. So anyway, but just like having an amazing time. I'm on my music shit fully. I'm better than ever on that side, and I just feel like I'm just a person who is really clear about who I am and what I want and where I'm going.
Do your kids understand they have famous parents?
They so mad. They be like, you gotta go again? You have to go again? And they always try to guilt trip me extra. I'm like, but I'm gonna be right back. Every time I go, I come back.
And you could perform with me.
Yeah, they're starting to like that. I'm noticing my youngest, Genesis, he's very, very shy. He is the boss. And he don't play no games. He don't like you. He's like, no, he don't care what. He's not trying to do it, be like nice to anybody. But he's starting to like being on the stage a little bit, which is a shocker because he's super shy. The other day he was like, Mommy, why you didn't call me on stage? I was like, huh?
You tried to play him.
I was like, huh? You want to go up there? Yes. So anyway, they do like that.
Now, I remember back in the day, there were some things about management, right, that people were talking about and speculating on when you had first signed a deal, because you got signed at an early age.
Right, 14.
And then I remember hearing that like they were charging you like some crazy percentage, and then you had to get rid of management. What was the real story behind that?
Really? You know, I was really with the same management for really a long time, and I don't think that it was like some crazy percentage. To be honest, the commissions in the business is just fucked. You know, it's like they're too high. And then you have a management commission, you have a business management commission, you have a lawyer commission, and you add all those commissions up and you end up with less than all of them.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So I think that it's not that they were doing something that wasn't standard. The problem is that industry standard is incorrect. And so as a young person, you don't really know those things. And so you just do what you think you're supposed to do. And then finally, 5 years down the line, when I was looking at my bottom line and my, management, business managers and lawyers were coming back with more money and I was on the road for 2 years straight, I was like, oh, what's happening? So again, it's just an education process. I don't think it was like some major drama or thing that they were like stealing from me. It was more that this is what it usually is. And
did you manage to, how do you adjust that?
Yeah, you just got to tell you, I'm not paying you that shit. Yeah, like I'm not, like that's not happening. I get it that that's what the standard is, but what has to happen for me is I need to have a long-term, I need to be able to, this needs to be a long-term thing for me, not a short-term thing. So you reapproach them and you say, I'm comfortable doing this. I want to do hourly. I don't want to do percentages. I want to monitor it. I want to see it. And you just got to get on top of your shit. So once I figured out what to do, I could actually execute it. But at first you're in there like, what am I doing? So once I got past that, that's all. I think it was just that to clear it up.
It never seemed like you had trouble gaining creative control and freedom throughout your whole career. Even in the early days, they let you just do you?
I have to say, they definitely I always had control of my music for sure. And I do think my first management was really instrumental on that. They were really about like me being at the head of my table. So they knew that I was playing, they knew I was producing, they knew I was writing. They knew this was my sonic, my sound, and it was really about like how to get the best out of it. And we tried. At the beginning, we tried to do like all of the things where all the other producers do the thing. It just didn't work because it didn't sound like me. It wasn't New York enough. It wasn't like the vibe enough. So I think it definitely, I've always had control of my sound. That's one thing I really appreciate.
But it was the marketing and promotions that in your first deal, they couldn't get a grasp on, you think? Because clearly you blew up after that first deal. So what do you think was...
Oh, the very first one.
Yeah, the very first deal.
They just was corny.
You talking about, what was that, Columbia, right?
I mean, I like to say that they messed it up for Aretha Franklin too. So
Yeah.
you know,
I just
sometimes-
watched that movie Respect. That was so.
Man, I've
Did you-
been dying to see it. Did you like it?
I did. I love Aretha Franklin though.
Me too,
And I
me
didn't
too.
know her whole story like that.
Yeah, I think she's also revealing a lot more of her story. Like
Yeah.
it feels like she's like, or the estate or whatever the case is, like opening that up a little bit more. But you know, I think it just wasn't the right place for me. You know, now that I know and I believe in divine timing, you know, you realize that it just wasn't right. So I had to move out of there so that I can move on to the next thing. So I'm actually grateful that they were corny and didn't understand what I was doing, because then I can move on.
It's crazy. This is the Alicia Keys that I don't think everybody ever seen in their life. You know what I mean? Just when I'm hearing you on Drink Champs, I'm like, she's a fucking New Yorker. Just the cockiness, just how you feel, just the authentic. But we never got a chance to hear you speak. And I think it's a
crazy.
different side. You know what I mean? Because we love the music, but we didn't know A Keys.
Right.
You know what I mean? But now it's like, well, this motherfucker's a New Yorker. She will punch you in your face. Like, this is that vibe, which I love. I was going to ask at 12, what got you into singing and playing the piano and being a musician at 12, coming from New York City, Hell's Kitchen, everybody's running around outside. What got you say, nah, this is what I want to do?
I don't know what always attracted me to the piano. It was almost like a calling, kind of. I think I don't even know. Nobody I know played. My grandmother played, but I barely saw her because she lived in like a whole other place. So there wasn't somebody that was around me that kind of led me there. So I think it was a calling on the piano side. And then once I got a chance to have access to one, because like, who has a piano? Like that's like
what I
the
was gonna say.
world's.
We don't usually play pianos because
We don't have them.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I think, you know, that's what it was. I got, there was like a strange gift that was, a person kind of was moving and they didn't know what to do with this kind of piano they had in their family or whatever. And they said, like, could you use it? So it was one of those weird things that would never happen ever, and did. And so I think that was kind of the door that opened it up right
And
there.
how did you get into the industry? Because they said your mother was a paralegal. So how did mom know about the music industry?
She
or how
didn't.
did dad? Like, how did the family know about getting you a deal? Like, 'cause how?
She didn't. I wasn't raised by my father, so my mother definitely was both for me, and she didn't know. She didn't know. We happened to stumble on. We were at the PAL doing all of these we were putting together a group and rehearsing at PAL on 137th like every day after school, and so she didn't know anything. These guys kind of were like, hey, we think your daughter can do some stuff and this is what we could do. And I remember they'd be in our little apartment. Our apartment was like tiny and they were kind of big. They'd just be sitting there taking up all the space. And I think she probably felt really distrustful. I think she decided to kind of go with it, but I don't think she knew anything.
And look how God's planning.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Thank
This
God.
is a random question, but I was listening to the album and I said, has Alicia Keys ever really been skydiving?
I have not.
Okay.
Have you?
No, I
Emmy
haven't.
has.
But,
You
but
have?
I'm listening to the record and I'm like, is this based off skydiving? Like, because it's so vivid and the way you break it down. It's like I'm feeling like you were in the air looking around.
In my head, I was in the air skydiving. I'm not personally a fan of things that might end up real bad. Like one time I read this story about a woman who went skydiving. She jumped out the plane, parachute didn't pull, went all the way to the floor, found out when she was rushed to the hospital that she was pregnant.
Oh boy.
No.
Baby lived, she lived.
Wow.
Now,
Thank God for a good ending. I was like,
no, that was
Yeah,
starting,
I was like,
that was
this is
starting to
how
get
it's going.
tragic. Now I wanted to give you something positive. So
That's
in
better
that
than
case,
skydiving, actually.
in that case, I mean, that was just one of them things where obviously you're supposed to do. You got a lot left to do, but still, I just don't want to experience that. I don't want to experience
I'll
none
never
of
do
that.
it again.
Because I just
You
read.
did it?
I did it, but I'll
yeah,
never
he
do it
did
again. Me
it.
and my wife
He
did
looked
it.
at videos
Yeah,
afterwards.
me and my wife did it, and then after we looked at videos, and we see all the people with the parachutes didn't open, people getting caught in electric cords and getting electrocuted, and we was like, never again.
You know what we're not going to do? But let me ask you a question. Some people have said that it's actually, you know, when you're on a roller coaster and you hit that down thing and your stomach goes all the way up here and you hate it. I've heard that you don't actually get that feeling. It's not that drop.
It feels like just like that feeling that you said with you flying and you just looking over the world.
Yes.
That's exactly how it feels. The hardest part is jumping out the plane.
Yeah,
That's the
'cause
hard-
you have to get
'cause
your
you have to
mind
you have
right.
to get out. But once you get out and that old shit goes and you just flying and you just looking at the world and everything just feels surreal. It just feels amazing.
Right.
So what was your inspiration for the record?
It was more the concept of like jumping without inhibition, like describing this idea of like actually jumping out of the plane instead of convincing yourself that you're gonna fall, you're gonna get, so this idea of just jumping, going for it. So that was the inspiration, that concept for skydiving.
Because I just finished Will Smith's, book a couple weeks ago, and that's how he ends the book. He ends the book with him jumping out of the plane. So it was just, I don't know, my mind's been on skydiving. So
Are you gonna?
No.
You know what I think we could do, me and you? Seem like we're on the same page.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Me and you can probably do like this more parasailing vibe. Which is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you have the...
Parasailing is more
Above the
scary.
water.
You
It was
think
scarier
so?
to me than skydiving.
Damn, you adventurous.
Absolutely. That's scarier. 'Cause
Really? Because
you're holding on and the wind is basically holding you up. So if the wind lets go, you can drop. I didn't like parasailing.
Okay.
Skydiving was a lot better than
But
me.
I thought the
y'all do
wind.
what y'all want to do.
But I
Okay.
thought with the boat, the jet ski is gonna create wind.
Nah, B.
No,
whatever
it's
the
like
boat.
you actually just go off the side of a mountain.
Oh.
And the
Oh,
wind,
nah,
it has to be the right wind and it captures you and you go for it and you can kind of direct
You see it all day from the side of your house.
I
see the
do.
videos from the side of your house.
Which is why.
Can you imagine living on the side of the earth and you see people jumping off all day? That must be surreal.
But I don't see them jumping. I feel like they just
fly
take
by.
off. I don't know what it is because I called one time. I was like, how can I do this to the parasailing? And they were like, you have to call 30 minutes before 9 a.m. and we'll tell you how the wind is. And if the wind is right, you can drive over and then it's first come, first serve.
No,
And
that
I was
sounds
like,
scarier.
okay. I was like, okay. And then I said, wait, how old can you be? Because, can I bring my kids? Like, yeah, your kids could be 6 months old. It don't matter. No one ever got hurt. I was like,
I'm cool.
Google if no one's ever gotten hurt.
you like Swiss.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, because when you grow up in a certain environment, I get enough adrenaline rushes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I
The
had
way my
enough
anxiety set
thrills.
up, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm
Now, Pusha T on the first record on the album.
You
Yes.
sample Beanie Sigel, the truth.
Yes.
Why Pusha T? Of
I
all
love-
people, why Pusha T? Pusha T, my guy, but why Push?
I love Push, man. I just feel like he has such an energy of his own. I love how he flows. It feels like he just zooms right into the truth and paints you a picture. That voice is so like, you just feel like you right there with him everywhere. It's a movie to me every time that he rhymes. So I can't believe I never worked with him before. I've always admired him. And that tempo of the truth and the song that I wrote is called Plentiful. It feels like his lane right there. So it was perfect.
Why that sample? Because that sample is just so gutter.
Can you believe? I don't feel like anybody used that. I don't know how that one went under the radar. And I didn't even realize that Ye produced.
Kanye, yeah.
I didn't really realize that. So obviously, Ye and I have history in regards to the music we've made. So it was kind of fresh to come back there, not only with Ye, but obviously with The Truth, Beanie, big love to Beanie, and then Pusha. But it felt, it's all about keys. This record is all about keys, and that organ and the way that I put the keys on top of it, it felt like it had this urgency and this darkness and I like how the vocals I chose were like a jazzy zone. So I like this mixture of worlds. It felt like it was a nice way to lure you into the world.
On Drink Champs, you got asked Pharrell or Kanye, and you picked Ye. Was it because of the loyalty in the past history?
Yeah, I have actually done a few records with Pharrell as well. Not as many as Ye, I don't think. I just think that for me, Ye has a really, respect to both, but Ye has a really soulful vibe, and the way that he produces and the samples that he chooses fits with me, So that's why.
I didn't know he did You Don't Know My Name.
What?
I don't know why I never thought about
Ain't that crazy?
No.
Nah, but I feel you. Like, I didn't know he did The Truth. So.
Yeah.
Did you know he did The Truth?
I did when I tried to sample it. I tried to sample it to use for a commercial for my TV show.
Right.
And they were like, you got clear with Kanye. I'm like,
He was
Kanye.
like, oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Nah, that's fire.
Now, also, they said you would do another verses. You're open to it.
Another verses. Another verses, yes.
But-
I don't know who. I'm trying to
See,
figure
this
out
the New York out of you,
who.
because when I'm listening to you on Drink Champs, you was like, yeah, the John Legend was cool. That was like,
It was obvious.
Woosah. But I'm ready for that war. I'm ready for that action. So
It was too
it's
nice.
whatever. I love that.
I'm just trying to figure out who. I think that's the craziest part about Versus. What's so amazing about it is that it is kind of hard to pair people up because people are, obviously everybody does dope shit, but sometimes it's so different. It's like, how do you choose who to put with who? So I don't even know who would be the one. Who do you know?
I mean, I agree with them. Beyonce,
Maybe you and Usher,
Rihanna.
and then y'all could do my boo at the end.
Right. Look.
Nah,
She's like, I
Classic
know.
record, one of my favorite records.
I know.
I need the Beyonce, the Rihanna, the Mariah. One of those three.
Okay. Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you feel like you don't get mentioned in that sphere enough?
No, I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm in my own lane anyway.
Definitely are.
Yeah, so I can see why people wouldn't, because I don't really belong there.
And sometimes I feel like Alicia Keys was born in the wrong era musically.
Yeah, what you mean you don't belong there?
I just feel like I belong in my own space. You know, I just feel like I occupy my own space that really doesn't fit actually, and even that. When he said, my name won't get mentioned within that group. I don't even feel like it fits quite in that group. But I do feel like I was born in the wrong era too. Mm-hmm. I really do. I was probably missed it by a decade or two.
Even when you listen to the album now, you like, all right, wait a minute, where we at? You know what I mean? Because it's like you feel Billie Holiday-ish, like you see those movies where it's like the bars and the lights are low and everybody's smoking cigars, cigarettes. Like that's how it feels.
Moody. I know what I know what you mean, and that's why I fit perfect here right now, because it's meant to be like that and it's meant to have that mixture. So I
disagree. Like, you spank niggas' ass. Like, you're a 15-time Grammy Award-winning artist. I don't think people
for
know.
her though, for her lane, she don't like.
But what is the lane? She do R&B, she do the pop shit, she do the hip hop.
It's kind of like Sade. Sade doesn't really fit into a lane
I like
with
that.
anybody.
There you go.
And so it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I feel like that's. I think what you thought I was saying was as if I don't fit in that lane, as if I'm somehow not belonging there. I more meant it as if maybe it's unlaneable.
It's not a comparison.
You know what I mean?
Got you.
You can't put this song against this song because they're not.
They just don't. They're not in the same space or whatever. But she got me. She got you and she got me.
Yeah, that's how they vibe. I see that.
I like that.
Now, on Drink Champs, you told the story about Prince, right? Now, has anybody else ever not cleared a sample for you besides Prince?
Oh, right. He was like,
because I can't imagine Alicia Keys comes, right? And she's like, when you told that story, though, it was respectful.
Right, you understood.
Yeah, I understand that, because
His
that's
mind
Prince, and
state.
he's very into ownership and making sure the right people get the money.
Definitely.
But I can't see somebody saying, yeah, we're not going to sign off on this Alicia Keys record.
You know, I mean, I guess I don't have any that come to my head that was like super, super disappointing, you know, when I was like, no. And a lot of times I love to flip records anyway. I love to, if there's an inspiration that I have, I love to flip it so that it, you know, has a spirit of it, but it doesn't actually have to go through all that. So yeah, no, I don't remember another one. That was my best one.
I feel like Prince would love you though.
No, he loved me, which is why he said no.
Right.
He loved me, which is why he said no. And I actually appreciate, he said no in a way that it wasn't no for me. It was no who owned what would come of it.
Got you.
So it wasn't no to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you learn a lot of things about ownership? Like, did you and Prince have those type of conversations?
I feel like I really learned more about it after. I recognized his example, but I didn't fully understand the mission like how I do now. Mm-hmm. Now I really get it. And now that he's, you know, not here, I can understand what he was fighting so hard for, because you can see how it's true. It's imbalanced and the power balance is off, and the people who actually, to my point, back to the lawyers, the business managers, and the managers who walking away with, you know, 300% more than you are. It's just, that's off. That shouldn't be that way. The creative should have the majority, and then the business people should at least share equally. It shouldn't be like over, you know, getting. So I understand now. And he was very, obviously super vocal, but he didn't over preach if I was with him. I feel like he was more concerned about me cursing.
Prince?
He hated it because he was Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at that point, you know, that was the most important thing to him. And he knew I was going to slip up.
You know, when I met Prince, that's the first thing I said, because I couldn't think of nothing else
That's
to
the
say.
only thing he said.
What did he say?
No, I'm a Jehovah's Witness too.
Because it's Prince. I didn't think I would be. You know, certain people you get around, you don't realize you starstruck.
No, it was embarrassing.
Like, hey, you know, I was raised Jehovah's Witness too.
No.
Where you raised your
Yeah, well,
witness?
my mom was
Tell the
your
story
witness.
now.
Amazing. Yeah,
Well,
please tell
Prince
me.
was in the building.
Yeah, at like
This
5
building
this
right
building.
here?
Yeah,
Right here,
down the hall, not to
5:30
see
in the
us.
morning.
Early in the morning.
Wow,
5:30.
Prince at 5:30?
Yes.
With 2 old white women.
They weren't two old white women.
Yes,
but
it
go ahead. No,
was.
they weren't.
It was with his publicist.
But go ahead.
And somebody said it. Somebody was like, yo, Prince is in the building. You're like, Prince is in the building. So we put everything on automation.
We ran over to the door
and
like
soon
little
as we went to the
girls.
door,
They were like,
he
he's gonna come say hello.
walking by.
Like little boys, come on.
Like little girls, little boys.
You know,
ran
Prince
to
is
the
my
door.
favorite artist of all time, so I was like, let me just
Let me just
mind my
stand right
business.
here.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
That's all I could think to say.
Prince
I
walked
could
by
Jehovah's
and-
Witness too.
We go
And then
high
he
Prince.
asked for a picture, and Prince said no.
First asked for a picture.
And then he tried to sneak one anyway.
Right.
Wait.
That
First we
hurt.
see Prince. We go high. I go high. He says hi. He goes, I'm Jehovah's Witness.
Prince is like,
like
yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that
Just
one
like that.
day.
We're connected.
He goes,
Talk to me.
He goes, we'll talk about that one day. And he goes, can I get a
See me.
picture? Prince says no.
He said, no, I don't. He said, I don't want to take pictures right now. I'm like, all right.
Okay, all
So he
right.
tries to sneak a picture while Prince is walking off.
I did.
He took a picture.
And it was there. It was Prince floating away.
Right.
Literally.
Which is just it. That represents him perfectly.
And guess what? 10 seconds later, that's in my phone. That was just black.
True story.
Dead ass.
No, true. That was true.
Dead ass.
He
It was
came
just
in here, we
black.
looked at the picture, and then it was gone.
Oh, that hurts so bad though, right?
No, that's when I let me know Prince is
It's
an
okay.
otherworldly being.
Nah, it's for sure. Without question. Nah, I get it.
Now, what is the difference between an artist, a singer, and a musician? And what do you view yourself as?
An artist, a singer, and a
musician.
musician. I think an artist is a person that has their own vision. I think a singer is a person who sings songs, and a musician is a person who plays instruments. And I'm all of them plus a producer, plus.
When you recorded this album, Keys, and you were writing, because were you home during the pandemic doing this? Very much in love, it feels like.
Definitely. I feel like a lot of people pick up on the love, and I am in love. And
Yeah,
so that
very
is
much in love.
actually right. And I also feel like I've also become able to express my love for myself. So I think a lot of the love that you feel is also me loving on myself and expressing like that love too. So it's both. It's obviously the love I have for my family, the love I have for Swizz, and the love that I have for myself. So I think that's what's coming out.
So
Have you
how
always
was it
had that?
letting him hear these songs while you were writing them and recording them?
Oh man, he definitely, he always kind of stays out my way because he just, lets me have my space, and he really likes that. But I love to play him songs after I'm finished, especially when I love them. And when he loves them, it's fresh. He's extra over dramatic about everything. So I love that energy. But have I always been in love
Have you
with
always had that
myself?
self-love?
Not the way that I thought I did. I thought that I thought that I was very much clear about what self-love meant, but I realized that I didn't have that confidence, and I didn't have that actual love. If I did, I would have probably made different choices, or I would probably have demanded more for myself in a lot of ways, which is what I understand now. So
What about worthiness? How long did it take you to get to a feeling of worth?
yeah, the worthiness, that's a deep one, because I always, I was raised by a feminist for sure. I always felt very much like I talked about I'm worth it, and this, I'm a superwoman and all these things, which I actually knew when I was writing them that I didn't feel that way. I didn't quite feel the ways I was writing, which is why I needed to write them. But I didn't realize that it was actually a self-worth issue that I had. So it took a minute, longer than I wish. I wish I got it earlier. But I would say within the past, probably in the past 3 to 5 years.
Same. Why is that?
What is that about?
December 2019, I got to a
You
place
know
of
it.
worthiness.
Whoa.
Absolutely.
And do you know what it was? Or it just kind of accumulated everything?
It was a seed somebody planted in me when they told me that even if you don't feel worthy, just know God knows you're worthy. And it was like you're just gonna feel it. And literally, I remember sitting in the house around this time, 2019, and it just
felt
hit me
it.
like, you know what? I'm worthy. I'm
That's
worthy.
that's a hard one. I really feel like we don't feel like that a lot.
Do you remember when you got to that point? Do you remember the moment?
I remember the moment I realized that I didn't feel worthy. And I realized that was, I realized by being almost so accommodating, that expressed that I didn't feel worthy to fight for myself.
You're trying
know?
to please everybody else.
Yeah, you accommodate this person, okay, this person needs, it's cool, I don't really need that. I'm good if I just, I'm cool, it's okay. That's happened, that's not working out. Okay, I'm cool. What I'll do is I'll flip it. And I thought that I was being accommodating, or I was being, fluid, which there's something to being fluid, and you have to do that too. But I also realized there's something to fighting for yourself. You have to be like, guess what? I want this. What are you gonna do about it? Accommodate me, as opposed to me always accommodating you. So that's the part that so I started to recognize that that's what I was doing. And I thought it was humility. I thought it was, fluidity. I thought it was kindness. I thought it was whatever. But I realized it was actually, I felt some type of way about, I didn't have the self-worth that I should have had.
Is it because of guilt too? Because of, when you come from a certain environment, you have all this success and you're the breadwinner and all this other stuff. Is it that too?
Yep. I think that there was definitely a lot of unneeded guilt about my success and feeling like I had to fit in and wanting to, I just didn't want to, I want to be with the same people I always been with. I didn't want to feel like I wasn't able to, they weren't able to relate to me or I wasn't able to relate to them. So I think in a lot of ways I would kind of just act that way. So yeah, I do think, but that was my own thing. They didn't even feel like that. That's the thing we do. We project for other people. They didn't even feel like that.
Right.
So that's how that goes.
Now you said at first you and Swizz, you didn't see Swizz as that type of person. Like y'all didn't have a connection at first. How come y'all didn't have that connection? What didn't you see in Swizz at first that was like, nah, B?
Come on. It's like we literally day and night. And at least I thought.
That's not day and night. That's what I'm saying. Y'all.
We actually we're exactly the same, but I didn't realize that at the time. One thing I guess that we are a bit different is that he is 1,000,000 times more flashy than I. I am definitely.
Looking at that chain, I don't know.
But I'm exercising.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
I'm practicing and I love it. I'm with it. But I think that's probably the biggest one. He would, the first car he probably got, was some probably Ferrari, Maserati, Enzo, something.
Lamborghini, yep,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean? The first car I got was like a Mazda 626. Like I was just like, you know what? I want this. And to me, that was fresh as hell. I was excited, but I didn't even think that I could have more. It was always just kind of about like just doing the basics type of thing. Again, which goes back to where we were. And also I want to actually drive in the street and actually like be able to go places and
But it's art too, though.
I realize that now. I didn't understand that then. And so for me, that would probably be what I felt was so day and night. He was like super over the top, everything. Big ass colors, everything was orange and yellow and bright. And, it was like, it wasn't just one chain. It was like 5 chains. It had to be 5 chains. It's not just one car. It's like 6 cars. It wasn't just like a really nice car. It was like the white Rolls Royce of, you know what I mean? It was like everything had to be super. But I realized that was just him exercising what he deserved. And that's the thing. That's the thing difference between him and I. And I think we actually have balanced each other in a beautiful way with that. It's like you get to express what you deserve. And we all deserve it. It's not something where you're not supposed to have something nice. I think we're taught that we're not supposed to have nice things because it's somehow unholy or not right. And I think what happened, where that comes from, I think, is just because people can take that and get confused about it and get very selfish about it as opposed to being given. But one thing that Swizz is super giving. He never does anything for himself before he makes sure that everybody is straight. So
that's a fact. I made my first big check ever in this business because of Swizz. And he didn't have to do that for me at all.
He's that guy. He's always that guy. So I think that's what happens. You might get misconstrued, and then you start only thinking about yourself as opposed to making sure that everybody is good. So as long as that's happening and there's a balance, then there's nothing wrong with having.
I heard the first piano that you got, he tried to get you to get rid of it and get something way nicer. You was like, no.
The first piano?
The first piano she ever received. When you signed the deal, they gave you a piano.
Right.
And you wouldn't get rid of it. He was like, there's way better pianos, more expensive pianos. And you was like, nah, B.
He wanted everything to be Liberace.
Right.
So, but I don't think he knew. He didn't realize. So in our house is my first piano. And that's the piano that I was given by Columbia when I was 16. And so it's like a memory, it's like a
It's not a Steinway. It's not a this.
It is actually a Steinway,
okay.
but it's quite small. It's like, just a baby grand. It's like but it's beautiful.
Is it still tuned and everything?
Still tuned. I play it all the time. Egypt plays on it. It's been with me. So it's like a special thing for me. And he was like, but we can get this. We had all these pictures. It was fire. They look good. I was like, but this one's like special.
He could put it in another room because you guys got plenty of rooms.
we like this one. we like this one.
Now, when did you come up with the idea to do Unlocked and Originals? What made you say this is how it's going to happen?
I really wanted to, well, first of all, the originals, the concept of keys definitely was always about the piano, and I really did want it to have that, just that stripped back feel. There's something about
A minor type of feeling.
And I, because I guess I didn't realize, back to what you were saying, is like, you don't realize that you go away from home, kind of. And I think it's natural to look for what you want to look for more, because you always lived in that home. So you're like, I've been here. What's outside the home, you know? And so you start searching and you find and you look, and then you kind of realize after you look back that, man, I left the house and I ain't been back. And so I think keys was really like coming back home. And so that you just really wanting to be about the piano and writing it and making it all about that. And as I did that, I loved it, and it was fire. But there's also this other side of me, to what you're saying, that I think it's hard to show all of you, for all of us. I mean, for all of us, it's hard to really display that, you know, or have an opportunity to display that. And it felt like doing this Unlocked piece, not only was it exciting because it allowed us to reinterpret these originals, but it allowed it to be the other side of me that I wouldn't have wanted just a whole album of Unlocked. And maybe I would have wanted a whole original, but I love them together because it's full spectrum.
You got a song called Nat King Cole on the project.
Yes.
He's clearly a musical hero of yours, right?
Definitely. You know, I think it was just the theme that we started to write. I wrote that with a woman named Natalie Hemby, who's super fresh. And the theme that we wanted to write was about, because the theme of keys and the theme of my life right now is really about completely never holding back ever again. And you actually are allowed to be on your bullshit. Who said you have to tone down? Like, where did that come from? So that was a part of my life for a long time. I reject it. I don't want it no more. And so that song really describes that. Like, tear down the chandeliers and be like your most majestic. And to me, Nat King Cole represents that. There's like an elegance and a prowess and like a legacy and some really a power that he represents, and that's why we wanted to call it that. Ill though, because a lot of people actually don't even know Nat King Cole, believe it or not. I think there's a whole generation of people that
I think so.
Don't, you know, and that's fresh though. I think because because I think it turns people on to like, well, who was that and what is that? I think like a song or two because over the holidays you hear like.
Unforgettable.
You know what I mean? And you're like, oh.
You think of a duet with his daughter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. But so that wordplay, it was more about be unforgettable, like Nat King Cole. By the way, the Wayne verse on that to me is so masterful. I love that verse.
Well, for somebody who doesn't fit into an era musically, what is your inspiration? What do you tap into?
Everything. Everything. I love to listen to everything. I love to listen to things that I love, new discoveries. I love listening to new artists. I love, taking it back to like the eras of the 30s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, going through the eras are ill. So I just think listening to everything and then just allowing it to kind of be in there and then go wherever it goes is part of what creates the timeless. I think it's because I actually love all the eras that it sounds errorless.
What's your relationship with her? Because she is amazing as an artist, and I know you guys have a strong connection.
Big, super, super love to her. I love what she's all about. She's definitely a little sister to me for sure. I mean, I've had connection with her and my eyes on her since she was like a super shorty, maybe like 9 or whatever when she first, she sang one of my songs on, I don't know, somewhere she sang it, and that was when she first came on my radar. And that was, before she was her own artist. So I just think she's amazing. She's an amazing writer, amazing producer, amazing musician. I love seeing her play guitar. I love seeing her play piano. I think, just reminding people, that instruments are such an actual thing. Because sometimes I think we hear songs, we hear sonics, but we're not really thinking about what instrument created that sonic. So I love that. I think she's really, really special.
I was listening to Drink Champs. You were talking about the Empire State record. and you said when you first did it, you did it in L.A. and Jay called you and was like, "Can you change the vocals?" How was that conversation? Because this wasn't small Alicia Keys. This wasn't Alicia Keys that just came out of 15. This was Grammy Award winning Alicia Keys. Jay-Z on your phone talking about, "Yo, can you change the vocals?" So what was your mind frame at that point? Like, Nico, you know who you talking to? Was it at any point?
I feel like he probably had a really hard time making that call. I don't feel like he wanted to make that call.
And he had to make it personally. You can't have it relayed through somebody
you can't
else.
have the engineer be like, "Yo, Jay said," you know. So I feel like it
How
was
did that call start? Was it like, "Hey, how you doing? How's the kids? How's moms?" Like,
yeah.
Can you change your verse?
Yeah, no, he was just like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Hey," you know, I was excited because I was like, "Okay, we got the record," and I knew I was really trying hard to meet his deadline. And so I worked hard to get it. And so I was like, "Yeah, you got it, you heard it." And I feel like right when I asked him, "You got it, you heard it," was right where he was like, "Yeah." And then he was just like, "You know, I was thinking."
I was thinking.
I was just thinking that, I was wondering, do you think you could do one more time? Could you do it one more time? And I definitely remember, I was like, "What?" In my head, I was like, "What? One more time? I did this shit." But he was like, "Cause I just feel like maybe one more time we really gonna get the vibe," and I had to respect it, cause you know it's true. There's an energy on a record, and you can feel it right away. And it was his record. He knew what he was looking for, so I had to respect that. I possibly could have gave it one more time, and I did realize that I was sick, cause I sang it sick, cause I was trying to hit the deadline. And so, you know, it's just, you could tell. But I think what he really wanted was me to talk more shit on it, because he was like, "Could you do more of the, you know, you go, yeah, you do all of that. Can I get a little more of that?" So he just had the direction it gave me, and I took it.
But
Have you ever had to make that call to somebody?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, now does that make you allow you to do it to other artists? Like, you'd be like, "Nah, I need that."
Because you have to. It's
Yeah.
your music, and you want it to sound as great as possible.
I mean, I love to be in a room with an artist. Like, that's how I love to record. And when I'm producing records and I produce other artists or whatever for myself, being in the room is best. So then while you're in the room, you can kind of say, "That feels great, but let's try this. Let's get this." And I find that then it's a creative process as opposed to the call after, like, you ain't really
most
nailed
people
it.
aren't in the studio anymore nowadays.
It's
Like,
true.
Back in the day, it used to be
Everybody, the musician, the bum, the backgrounds, the thumb, everybody hit. So that, I mean, which is why I think you feel like such a crazy energy from some of those records. But our records are just as strong because there's like another type of energy we create with the sonics that we have. But I would definitely make the call. I can, as an artist, I know how to talk to people, and I think he did that for me. Like, he ain't make me feel like shit.
And he the OG though.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with the OG call.
Listen, yeah. Like he got it.
Have you had to do that? Have you had to make one?
I don't feel like I've had to make a ton of calls, but I definitely had to call a ton of people and tell them something's not right.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. It is what it is. I actually don't have any problem with it.
Did you have to make a call in your house one time, like, "Swizz, can you please turn down the music?" And while I'm trying to record it, like, how does that work in the house? Because Swizz be playing
He's
music
so loud.
dumb loud.
Nah, he's loud.
Dumb loud.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day I'm sitting here in the kitchen just trying to talk. And I can't even talk. The music is so loud. The music is fire. Don't get it twisted. The zone is amazing. But I'm like, "Yo, can we do that?" So then I go downstairs. I'm like, "Babe, I'm trying to talk upstairs. Could we turn it down?" He's like, he's annoyed. He's like, "I'm trying to listen."
Like, get some headphones.
So yeah, we do have the conversation about turning it down all the time. Then he gets drastic and goes super low. I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. That actually works."
That's a Virgo.
How about that?
How's
I'm
that?
like,
Is that fine now? Is that fine? Is that okay? Can you hear now?
If you could do a collab album with somebody, who would it be?
Ooh. Damn. I would want it to be something crazy, like 3 or 4 people from like whole different universes. I think that would be so ill. Who would it be? Who could that be?
Because I think about people who you work well with.
I got 2 in mind.
Who's in your mind?
Sade and Mary J. Blige. If you're talking about different
Right, different
universes,
like worlds.
you know what I mean? It's all a galaxy of soul, but you know,
It is.
different planets.
Now that's ill. I mean, that would definitely be crazy. But even something ill, like I did a song with Brandi Carlile on this record, and she's Khalid. That's interesting. Or even somebody like, I don't know, just wild, like all the way over there, like a Jack White, or just something kind of, just like
different
that,
sound.
Yeah, that
to make it different than Alicia Keys.
That all together it would create something that would just be like, what is that? It's a mixture of this, that, something like that. But I have to think about that. Let's execute that.
Love When You Call My Name. That's I think that's my favorite song on the album.
A lot of people feel like that's a zone for them.
Why? What inspired that record?
I think that what I love about the song is it almost has this almost like Fleetwood Mac type of I feel like it's Fleetwood Mac meets early Michael Jackson. And there's something like crazy about the way that the chords feel like they so open. But yeah, just that vibe of like it doesn't even matter. What I love is when you call my name. That's, we could do all this other stuff and have all these other things, but when you call my name, that's when it feels like something to me. So I think that kind of young Michael vibe in there is what attracts you. It attracts me.
I wanted to ask, what would this version of Alicia Keys tell Alicia in 2001?
I think she would tell her to, like, don't back down. Don't back down. Like, what you see, what you feel, what you need, there's nothing wrong with that, and that you deserve it. So ask for it. Like, before you think you got to pivot or change or fix or accommodate, like, ask for what you want first. And definitely, like, to know that you know what you're doing. Nobody knows what to do better than you, because I think that happens to a lot of us. We start to listen to a bunch of people that we think know more, or they've been in the game longer, or they done more, or we think they could take us somewhere we can't take ourselves, but that's actually fake. It's not real. So
When did you back down? Did you ever back down? Because I don't see you as a somebody that would back down.
it was more in little ways, not like in. I'm definitely strong-minded, strong-headed for sure, but I do feel like I could overcompromise.
I remember you told a story about a photographer who made you feel uncomfortable and had you like, unbutton your pants a little, now do this. And
The worst.
yeah.
The fucking worst.
And for women out there, you don't have to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. You feel like this is art. I don't want to be difficult.
Yeah, or you feel like, again, man, this is a major photographer. They shoot all the time. They shoot the biggest this and the biggest that. And if he says that I should probably unbutton the top part of my pants, maybe that's probably good. Because no, it's not fucking good. It don't feel good. Don't ask me to unbutton my pants. Are you crazy? You creep. Like, it's okay. It's okay
that
to
was so
just
fucking
like.
Harlem just now.
like it's okay to protect yourself, man. Protect yourself. Nobody's gonna protect you, so protect yourself. And that's what I would tell her.
All right.
Absolutely.
The album is out right now, Keys, and we appreciate you for joining us. It hopefully won't be another 11 years before you come back up here.
No, but can we please clarify? Is this the first time I've stepped in
This is the
room?
first time
Yeah.
with us.
We never did an interview with you.
Was it?
I think she's probably been here at Power 105, but I don't think she's ever done it.
Yeah, she hasn't been with the Breakfast
All right,
Club.
well, listen, it's not going to be another 11 years.
I can't believe it's been 20.
Yo!
Jesus
crazy.
Christ.
I am actually only 20 years old, so I don't really know.
We're born into
You know what I
this.
mean? I just was born.
Well, everybody go make some babies to this album.
There you
Yes! I want a lot of
It's
Alicias.
the holidays.
I want a
so
lot of Alicias.
a lot of
running around
September
here.
Alicias.
Let's
In
go.
October.
All right. It's Alicia Keys.
Okay, I got who the super group would be. I got it.
Who you think?
It's going to be Kendrick,
Ooh.
Sade. And that's it. Me,
Yes.
Kendrick, and Sade. That's what it is.
Let's put it in the
That
atmosphere.
feels like that'd be almost impossible to get done between Kendrick and Sade.
Honestly, it's going to be a tricky one, but I think it'd sound outrageous.
Yeah,
Right. This is her
let's
dream
hope for at least a
supergroup.
record.
Yeah, let's go
Let's
for
do a record.
one.
We can
I
do
feel
that.
like we could get an EP, maybe 4 songs or something.
Let's see. I'm going to push for it.
I feel like you might be just planting the seed. I think that might be already done. Maybe a record or something. Yeah.
Well, the album is out right now, Keys, and it's Alicia Keys. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Supergroup on the way.
Yes.